Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Janine Between the Lines. 'Tis I, your host, Janin Himnaizadat. Today's episode is a special one. It's not an OTT, but it does have a feature on it. My brother, Jasper, and I will be diving into one of our favorite books from one of our favorite authors, Salem's Lot by Stephen King. What else? You'll hear more about him later. If you enjoy my podcast and you're excited to hear about this episode and about our views on evil in the world and some gnarly old vampires, go ahead and like this podcast on Anchor, or follow it, or subscribe wherever you are, wherever you're listening from. If you would do me a big old freaking solid and rate and review me on Apple Podcasts, that would be the most helpful thing. Let's start off this year right, helping each other. So go ahead and write me a little review. That would be the best thing in the world. Or you could leave me a quick little applause. I'm winding myself. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening. I should probably get this fire alarm little beeping thing fixed, because in the event of a fire, while I have 3 candles burning, that wouldn't be the most safe thing. Yes, so I'll definitely get on that. Welcome to 2019. It's going to be an amazing year. And thank you so much. Thank you. I love you. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoy the episode. Say hi.
Hi, am I on now?
You are on now.
Oh dear, I'm actually. This is a little overwhelming, but
Are you nervous?
a little bit, yeah. Because I expected you to do this when I actually saw you face to face.
Oh, no, that's okay. I mean, we'll do what we can. Everybody, this is my other older brother. Why don't you introduce yourself, Joss?
Going on, y'all? Name's Jasper Jimenez. I am the middle child and the doting older brother of awesome individual.
Are you excited?
I am, because I've been waiting for you to cover a genre that I actually really like, the horror genre. So yes.
Yeah. I'm happy. Well, did you like the episode with me and JE?
You know how many times I've listened to that over and over again?
Oh my gosh, when me and JE recorded it too, we would listen to it so many times just because it was funny hearing the answers again.
Y'all do that again, because we need to do that again.
Well, we could actually do it with 3 people. Like, I think even on Anchor, you can add as many people as you want. But before we get started, I have like fire alarm that's like beeping, so that might be annoying. Joss is at home. I want you to tell the peeps more about you. I want to know, how was your New Year's?
Well, I mean, what should I start with?
Okay, instead of that, what are your New Year's resolutions?
Okay, well, in spite of a relatively uneventful yet really peaceful New Year, I just want to become the best version of myself. And
Yeah.
I just want to become the best version of myself, just physically, financially, just mentally. Doesn't extend to just really specific goals. Just 2018 was a really good year, and I just really do plan to just improve on what was just a solid 365 days.
Just be like a straight up scary man.
Straight up monster. That's really what I tell myself. Like, I'm gonna become a monster, like that no one will recognize this year.
A schmonsters.
Mangster.
So I don't know. I don't remember if I think I said it in my beginning, like my first intro ever. Like were you the one that introduced me to Stephen King books, or did I like pick it up myself? Like, when I would go to Goodwill, did I just all of a sudden start reading them, or did you tell me to read something?
I kind of edged you on to horror just because I felt like it was something you could get into. Seeing how much you loved reading, I wanted you to change up just like your usual kind of
What
history.
was I reading before? It was just like love books.
Yeah, I think the first Stephen King book I gave you was actually Desperation.
Oh yeah. No, yeah, you gave me that.
I
No,
gave you that,
but then I was reading Bag of Bones before that, I think. And you were like, dang, you're reading that?
but like in terms of just like a solid like Stephen like King like type novel, like a classic, I think I was the one who like introduced you to it, and so
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Because I picked the Bag of Bones just randomly. Like I liked the cover. And then you were like, whoa there, laddie. Whoa there, zaddy.
aka Dr. Zaddy. Oh,
Hashtag follow at Dr. Zaddy on Instagram.
oh gosh, oh no.
He cooks things and they're good things. I just cooked some salmon and some mixed veggies. It was amazing. And I finished Salem's Lot a while ago, but it was like I just had a gap in time where I didn't really know what I wanted to do in terms of podcast episodes because I'm still getting my bearings together, and I figured that like people just I'm trying to figure out what I want people to hear and what everyone else wants to hear. But you know what my this is the first time I didn't give like a guest on the show background, but I guess that makes for like better reactions and raw recordings. That's what she said. And um so you want to know what my plan is for right now? It's not going to be super in depth, and I mean it could get there. It could totally get there.
Probably gonna get there, knowing you.
So, I just want you to prepare yourself. So this is what I had in mind. So, of course, I'm gonna like give credit to like a bunch of these questions that I'm finding, but there were a few like book club discussion questions that I was reading, and I figured that they would be good, and we could try to answer some of these and see like if we think that they're different. How long ago did you read this?
This was
Was it like a long time ago?
I actually rented this is one of the books that I rented like during our like childhood library runs.
No freaking way.
I
That
really,
long ago?
yeah, that long ago, like really, really long ago.
But you remember it though, yeah?
For the most part, yeah. I'm like little like details that like you know, we'll see.
Well, that's okay because a lot of these questions are pretty general. And so there's going to be my little questionnaire part, and then I have a game that I want to play with you. Have you ever heard of soft move, boss move?
Huh?
Like
Boss
soft move
move, boss
versus
move.
boss move. Yeah, like kind of like smash or pass.
Oh my gosh.
So
Okay.
it's basically I'm gonna be saying like random lifestyle soft move boss. This is from the Jalen and Jacoby show. I was just watching like ESPN, and it's like basically it's a soft move like no,
Okay.
I wouldn't want to do that, or boss move like yeah sweet like I'd do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Okay, so we're gonna like rotate between like lifestyle ones, and then I'm gonna like I have a few like bookmarked things in the book, like things that happened, and like would that be a soft move or boss move, like in real life? You know what I mean?
Cool.
Okay, are you ready? I only have like 5 or 6 questions, but it'll be a fun diving.
To dive right in. Archie is like outside and he's like watching me like do this and he's like starting to like whimper a little bit.
You can let him in. That was my struggle whenever I'd be at home recording because he doesn't want to stay in, but he wants to be there.
He's literally staring a hole through me right now. Like partially open like he was like about to cry.
Oh my gosh. Okay, are you ready?
I am ready.
I want to know your take first, and I feel like you're more knowledgeable about some of these things too. So, one of the first questions that's on here says, in what ways are the vampires in the book like classic vampires, and how are they different from classic vampires?
Oh, easily they're classic vampires. One, because I think the main one is that they can be off with crosses. You know, a lot
Mm-hmm.
of vampires you see in this century of vampire fiction through novels, through comics, you know, through movies, you can see these weaknesses. Like, you know, there'll be crosses don't do jack squat against vampires these days. You know, you look at Twilight, you look at Blade, you look at some B-rate science fiction movies. You know, the best and honest way to kill a vampire in these things is pretty much to go the strong arm route and to stake them, burn them, blow them up. You know, but it's a super traditional sense of uh, just like a vampire's weakness to like be actually thwarted by crosses, you know, and in
Mm-hmm.
evil is basically being repelled by a classic embodiment of good, and that's where I think they are the most classic in this sense, you know.
Yeah, that is true. But yeah, and you've read a lot more and watched a lot more vampire material than I have.
Mhm.
Are they different from those characters in a lot of ways?
Um, Actually, I can't. I think these are about as close to classic vampires as I've seen. You know, I think maybe so. There was actual film slash TV series about
Mm.
a lot that was made. Like that was made, and I'd say that appearance wise, these vampires are actually pretty spot on of what actual vampires were portrayed as looking like too. You know, they're really slender, really pale. You know, they have the very long, like disproportionate teeth.
Mm-hmm.
The the folded, pointed ears too. The very prominent, pressed out, you know, dark slash yellow eyes. I actually looked at it, what like they look like in the movie, and yeah, if these aren't denizens of the night, then I don't know what is. So I guess it's kind of a weird question. This really is like what a classic vampire looks like to me. You know, even like personality wise, you know, these are the vampires. You know, they retain a lot of their like original like intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
They're able to like seduce you. They try to work with reason for you to like give you them the path of least resistance to like suck your blood. You know, they ask for invitations in, which is actually another classic aspect as well.
I know. I noticed that too. When I read that, I didn't know that that was like a a universal thing, because the first time that I saw that was watching The Vampire Diaries.
Yeah. So a lot of vampires are actually really coof, and they don't want to like they have this personality thing where they just want to take the path of least resistance. So
Mm.
actually repelling a vampire could start with just saying no to just this unusual charm, this power that they have to reason with you, to draw out this sense of strange attraction that they have with the human mind. So
Yeah.
that's a definite classic of vampire.
Wow.
Yeah. Do you think you find anything different in your sense of what a vampire is with these vampires specifically?
No, and I think that's the scariest part about it.
Yeah, like you look at like what a vampire's like how vampires transitioned.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a Twilight vampire versus what we see here, classic. You know,
It's freaking scary, man.
they're not something that you'll be able to tell that this is not something you want in your house. Like see freaking Jacob, or you see like what's his name,
Yeah.
Edward. Damn, man. So,
Those,
I might let this guy in.
those are actually the scariest vampires. Edward Cullen.
He coming and will want to come.
Do you remember what is his name? The little boy's name. Was it Ben?
Ben is the protagonist. You
No,
mean
yeah, that's Ben Mears. What was it, was it Mark or
the guy
Jacob?
who disappeared, the little boy who disappeared?
Yeah.
The little boy who disappeared.
I have the book in front of me. I'm actually looking for the one who, because I was about to reference when the first little boy that died was at his window. So like the
Yeah,
main, what was his name?
I think it began with like a R or an M or an S. It
I
was
think
like
it's Mark. Yes, it's Mark. It's Mark. His name is Mark, the freaking brave soul. That brave freaking child. That's why more kids need to read. Can you imagine if he wasn't reading all those science fiction things and then he just invited the ghost of that little boy in, and then that would have been the end of it.
yeah, that would have been. I might have been just the end of the story. I mean,
I
like
know. God. God.
also it just makes you wonder too. Like freaking Barlow was like an immigrant, like an Austrian immigrant. Like
Mm-hmm.
nobody like really like knew. Like nobody really like cared. Like it's like nobody was there. Like nobody like read up on just like who's like. I think a theme of this story that like I'm seeing is like xenophobia and like just the scare of like being different. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like like
But did they though? Because do you remember in somewhere in the like the latter half of the novel, they were talking about how I don't think it's a matter of the people in the town not reading up on it, but they were just choosing not to see it because they were talking about how like the history lives on in there, and then some people would just turn a blind eye to it
yeah,
because
I think
they
that's
know the town has been cursed that
yeah.
whole time.
Oof. This, this is such a good book, man. It's just
It's so good, Joss. Like when I was reading it, I was up. Did I tell you that? I was up and then I was so scared I was like skipping through some parts, but then I went back to read it because it was like midnight and I kept hearing things and
oh
I was
dang.
scared reading it.
That's what horror does to you, though. It gives you a different sense. Like it makes you feel like you're more like alive. I guess. I guess that's why I read like horror novels, just because like nothing really like connects me to like my senses than just like the fear of just looking like pine rack through a book. Even it's different with through a book than it is like a movie. If you see something scary in a movie, I think I'm able to forget it fast. The book, like, and it can like ingrain that in your mind. Even
Yes.
that's why that's like I don't read as much horror as I used to, just because like I want to find like that one like a new classic that'll actually just blow my
Play you.
mind.
Oh gosh, that's why I have such bad nightmares, right?
Yeah, I guess I contributed to that in a sense too. Like my sister has probably the most active and vivid imagination that between all of us, and they fuel just like dream sequences that are just they're crazy, man. Like when my sister tells me about like her dreams, especially like just through like the group chat and stuff, I'm just like, you can't even call them bad dreams sometimes. These are just like unfortunate happenings. They're like most of the time they're realistic, like
I know, that's the scary part.
that is scary. Why what in Salem's Lot happened? I mean,
Oh, I have no idea. I don't remember, I don't remember having any vampire related ones. I did have a really bad dream last night, but it was like nursing related. So
oh, nurse related. Okay.
yeah, it was bad. But you were just talking about Barlow and oh my god,
That,
dude.
I'm not
He
talking.
is one bad MF. There's a question here. It says, well, one, how is Barlow how and why is Barlow different from the rest of the vampires, and why is he different? But also, what are your thoughts on like the contrasting personalities between his character and all of your portrayals in your mind about how Dracula is.
But that's the thing too, they're both of European lineage. Both of them. Barlow comes across as just somebody who knows, like, he knows.
Why do I have knots in my stomach? He's scary.
I'm looking at a picture of him right now, man. This guy looks like, oh my gosh. Like it's weird because like his fangs are his two like front teeth. They're not so, like if he bites you and does that, you don't feel like space. It's just he's like freaking.
They're not his hashtag incisors.
But like you can tell, like this guy, like he knows that he's like just up to no good. Honestly, like
is he Dracula?
That might not be a bad assumption, just because vampires can take many forms, and he seems to have like that killer intellect. He like the people he changes, like he's able to charm them into thinking that just like, oh, I can make you better than what you actually are. He's like he's just the prototypical just master vampire. Somebody who just literally sucks the life out of a place and makes them like his for all the wrong reasons.
Do you remember in the book when he just demolished? Well, he didn't even kill Father Callahan.
No, he did literally that's another thing too. Like
I've never read anything like that in my life.
With Dracula, you can kind of see like there was some shred of humanity, no matter like how small. But with this guy, he literally turned someone's purpose into moot, pretty much. Just basically destroying, like he destroyed someone's faith, and now he can never go back to it.
Can you he couldn't get back in the church, and granted,
electric shock is what it felt like. So when he walks through the doors of a church now, like he will never. Oh my gosh, that's like, just imagine like you were ordained and you're just.
Oh my god.
And it was forcible. It was forcible.
Like, it wasn't just like a feeling where like he still could walk in. It's like he physically and spiritually.
Yeah, he's literally electrocuted every time he walks through like the church door. But it was kind of sad knowing that like that's the thing about Barlow's intelligence too. He tested the faith of a priest.
I know, and
he's like, okay, if you're really this man of faith, throw aside the cross, throw aside this symbol, and let's see what you can do. And that kind of pressure situation, man, he probably already knew. He probably already knew, like, all right, I'm the most terrifying thing on this planet. There's not a lot that this guy can do like in front of me right now.
The most terrifying, the most evil, and like the fact that, I don't know, it was kind of introspective in Father Callahan's sense, because he knows he wasn't as like strengthened in his faith as, a part of his Catholic community. He probably knew deep down that this kind of evil wasn't something that he's ever been. Of course, nobody would be prepared for it, but was his faith strong enough to like overcome it? And it was just, no.
It wasn't even like he wasn't feeling unfaithful. I think just in the presence of an overwhelming evil, that might just happen. You might just think like, okay, I can't let this cross go now.
But do you think that if Stephen King gave more background and kind of made Father Callahan not look like he was, a drinker and was like one of those quote unquote like sinning priests, do you think that if Father Callahan was more, I guess, like by the book and was an extremely quote unquote, again, good, faithful priest, do you think he would have been able to defeat him?
Not even. I don't think
Not even? Oh, wow. Interesting.
I think with that, just like his flaws amplify just how evil like Barlow is, like even if like I feel like Barlow could just even like figure out that like just just test you in a way where no matter how much faith you have, like you're human terror, you know, he's going to capitalize on that. Like I don't think you'd have to be literally the Pope to not be scared of Barlow, I guess.
Or to defeat him?
Yeah.
I don't think who would be even the Pope. How?
You have a heart.
No, who? No, really. Like even because he's, if I remember correctly from the history that they were reading up on, he came around, or this entity came around in like the 1700s, and everything was passed down. And who other than the Lord himself?
Blade.
Oh God, you're right. What was the white guy's name? His sidekick? Not Chrysler. Whistler.
Him or like Van Helsing.
Oh,
dude,
gosh.
that would be dope because Van Helsing isn't part of the church, but like he's ordained by like Rome to like kill vampires, and like he has like all like those weapons or whatever.
Yeah. Do you see why like I like to go back and read like classics? Like this is why, because is Van Helsing, is there a book about him?
He's not like
A book?
I mean, the Hugh Jackman version kind of blew everything up. Van Helsing was just a doctor who pretty much just kind of knew about the history of vampires. Like,
Yeah.
he's not like this like friggin' warrior priest guy. Like, no, like the actual like novels and the Bram Stoker type stuff. Like, he's just kind of like this guy who's seen vampires. He's knowledgeable about them, and so he just volunteers to help. He's not like he does not have an automatic holy crossbow.
Yeah. Yeah. That would literally be like, how JE always shows us those like Batman versus like Wolverine things. What if it was like Van Helsing versus Barlow? Did you watch the movie though, Joss? Did you watch Salem's Lot?
Heck no, dude. That came on TV. I got so scared.
Oh crap, we have to watch it then. I would watch it.
It's actually a TV series. It's not like, I think there was a movie made, but
Yeah, there's two. There was one in 1979 and then another one in 2004.
I think the 2004 one was if that was still scary to me, just imagine how bad the freaking classic one would be.
I might pee on my armpit.
Oh my God.
Shoot straight up.
Your shirt is soaked. Wait, how are you even watching the movie? You're like watching it like upside down.
One leg up. Freaking weird.
Oh my gosh.
We should watch it. Like next time I'm home, we can watch it. But
good. I think that's a good direction for your podcast too. I think you should you should do like a section where you do like film like movies and like compare.
That's what Issa and Eva said.
But I know how you feel about books and movies though. Like,
I know.
You're more to the book than movie.
I think all my listeners are pretty aware too, but I'm going to try to open my mind, and then that would be a good like basis, like a foundation for an episode, because the first thing I could talk about would be like comparing them and all of that kind of stuff. But
I think the whole genre is a good basis because they're both operating on the same premise that you're trying to be scared. So like if you like read the book and then like the movie doesn't go, like it's a really true like consensus as to whether a movie was made good, pretty much, because there's room for looseness with like other genres, pretty much, but with horror, like if it's not as raw, the terror you feel from the book, then it's like in the movie. So
exactly.
I think it's good. I think it's a good basis. Like,
do you have a favorite part
of the book?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, just like when they came back and just like set fire to the town. Honestly,
yeah.
Yes.
That gave me closure.
Honestly, my real feeling was like, is this really gonna work? Like, my real feeling was, is this really gonna like work?
Yeah. Do you feel any type of way about how Stephen King like formatted like the epilogue and I thought it was really cool And I was like, no way. That was from the beginning. Like, you know what I mean? Because how they talked about they were just on their way and they were coming from Mexico and like the Spanish priests.
That's crazy. Honestly, how they even like would you have that kind of willpower? Just like you saw all that horror, would you be the kind of person to like come back from Mexico, try to like do like what they were trying to do? I don't know. I don't know that kind of willpower, man.
I don't know if it's a matter of willpower, but
Do you think it was just obligation? Like they're just like, yeah,
yeah.
like we have to do this. Like we're the only like real like humans like left in this town. We have to destroy the Marston house. Like
Oh
I,
my God. Yes. I feel like it could have gone like it was kind of a spiritual like obligation
yeah,
because of everything that they've experienced. And if we were in their shoes, like of course your first instinct would be, I'm never going back there. Forget it. I'm going to move to Mexico and never. But then all their loved ones were there just walking around like nobody, literally, they would never have peace.
yep.
Everybody in the town, like, oh my God. Can you imagine? And here's the thing, which is a perfect segue to the next question. Do you like, I know we get a lot of it from mom, and she's just talking about how like we have to be like super like adamant about our faith and all this stuff because evil and devilry and all of this exists. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? And we would never know. Yeah, we do a lot of research on like aliens and monsters and all this kind of stuff, but evil that's comes from like hell,
yeah.
I believe it exists. And then this question says, Stephen King, in maybe like 80%, or not 80%, but in so many of his books, there's so many sub themes and like workings in his books that kind of like foreshadow and talk about the presence of evil in the settings of his novels. But it says like, what are your thoughts on evil in the world and its existence, and can people just be evil?
Yeah, of
You
course.
think so?
I
how
think
how do they become
think
that, and
are
how
you
are they
asking
that way?
people to be like born evil, or are you asking just like about like the state of evil like itself, like its existence, and just like
I want to hear both.
okay, so I don't think people are born evil, but with the right influence, just like where you are, and just like with a weak enough mind and just your propensity towards doing that, yeah, like, and that's, I think evil is something that isn't always like seen. Also, it's like it can take just like little instances too. It's just like you don't have to like be like a serial killer or whatever to like do evil things. Like you don't have to, like hold on. I have to regather my thoughts. That's going like
Isn't that just a loaded question?
it's pretty. Yeah, I mean like it's dump truck loaded, but
And also, it's like, because JE won't watch scary movies, and I'm kind of the same way. He's mostly scared of things that are kind of realistic in terms of like possession and like freaking spirits, like evil
that
spirits. Those are the stuff that we will not watch, and it's because of how, would you call it, close to home, just because of like,
of what
I
we were, of
believe that evil exists and people can
course.
do the darkest things and be.
We turn a blind eye to evil just because it's evil, I think, but that doesn't mean that it's not there. You know what I'm saying? I believe
Yeah.
I believe that evil isn't something that's always tangible, something that's always visible. I think that, you know, it happens without our knowing sometimes, but when it comes to light, like it just confirms itself that it's there. And it's just like not something that we understand completely, but we know it's there. We read up on just like all these terrible things that are happening in the world, and it makes like mom's like teachings and stuff, like it gives us that backbone just to be like, yeah, this is what we're fighting against, like this is what we have to try to like avoid becoming and avoid doing.
And how do you fight it?
How do you fight it? I guess you counteract it. I don't know if we can stop it like 100%, just the way like like we as humans are, but just I think to counteract evil, you have to do just in as much good as possible. If it means going to church for you, if it means helping other people, if it means just maintaining I guess a non-evil mindset in your mind, just positive, like for the good of other people, type of stuff. I think that you can at least counteract it, but to really stop it, I think is something that is just beyond a human concept as we know it right now.
Yeah.
Because it's a force. It's not just something, it's not like a disease where we can find a cure for, because it's just there. It's almost omnipresent as good itself.
Yeah, that is true.
It's a 50-50 equation. There's good and then there's evil, one out of two. They happen in equal occurrence in the world.
What are the odds you're evil? 1 out of 2.
Oh my. 3, 2, 1.
2.
Why would I? That's so bad. What, do I become evil if I?
That's the hard part. And then I don't know. That brings up an even bigger,
Even more loaded question.
conversation in terms of religion and how you're supposed to conquer your demons and all that kind of stuff. But
Such a paradox how the theme of how the title is Salem's Lot, but it should be more like Sodom's Lot, pretty much.
yeah, and Jerusalem, you know what I mean? It's like,
I kind of did they explain how the place was named? Because I kind of forgot. Like,
I think they did, and I should have bookmarked it, but I didn't.
it's just like the literal ground for like sin and bloodshed. Literally,
Yeah.
like the opposite of what a place called Jerusalem.
God. Is Salem's Lot your favorite Stephen King book?
Yeah, I want to say. Have you read Pet Cemetery? The first
No,
one?
not yet. Not yet.
That I think it's tied with Pet Cemetery.
Did he write Poltergeist?
No.
Okay.
Did you read Poltergeist?
No, but I remember seeing the movie and I was crying.
Is that the thing where the freaking skull giant monster like popped out of the freaking closet?
I think that's the one where the house was like demented. You know what I mean?
Oh,
That was an old book. Old book.
what was I gonna say? Yeah, I think it might have been like Poltergeist like 2 or something like that, or like there was a scene where like it was like somebody like opened a closet, this giant like freaking skull head like
Crap, I think that is it. And it was like glowing, right?
yeah, it was like glowing in the background, and like freaking all these like dead like bodies like popped up in the front lawn or whatever.
God dang. See,
Freaking. But you like the horror genre now, right, Janine?
I love it. It's one of my favorite. Like, the gratification I get from reading a good suspense novel or horror novel is unlike any other. I've really almost completely shed my desire to read like romances.
Really?
Almost, because I never buy them anymore. Like, I love a good like love story, and that's usually what I always used to get, because my first like true like streak of books that I would read was Nicholas Sparks, because my friend Allie would let me borrow all her Nicholas Sparks books. But then once I started reading like David Baldacci from Ninang, and then Stephen King, and then I would just always be in those sections, and then I was kind of averted to like love story books with a bunch of like weird covers, you know what I mean? Like these like men and women just entangled. I'd be like, I don't want to buy this. But like, yeah, I'm looking at all my books that are on my shelves right now. It's like Lord of the Rings, David Baldacci. I have The Troop there. I haven't read it yet.
That is a great book.
I have all my classics, like my Adventures of Sherlock Holmes and then Picture of Dorian Gray. I'm just naming what I'm seeing right now. And
That was a good podcast, by the way. That was a really good podcast. I love the Dream.
one
Yes, I
that
really
makes me happy. I didn't really know what to do with that, but I'm glad you liked it.
yes.
But yeah, like, and then I have, I'm my little classics kick. I'm gonna read Sense and Sensibility next. But yeah, it's crazy. I don't gravitate, and it kind of sucks, which it's not that I'm not open to it. A couple of my friends like Julia and Riley told me that they want to read. They're like, "Can we read something easy first?" And I'm like, "Okay," cuz they want to read something that, it's like a sweet little thing, which I don't mind. Like, dude, I cry reading books all the time. I wouldn't mind having another little love story, but I find myself automatically going to like the suspense horror section when I'm at Barnes and Noble.
Yeah, got that 30%.
Which is new, yeah. Remember how we always used to go to the magazines first, and then you started going to like comics and then kitchen stuff, and now for me,
That's so accurate. Oh my gosh, dude. That's exactly what I do. And then I go to the cookbooks.
yeah, for me, it's like stationary things. Then I think like suspense, and then I did have a string where I wanted to like get a bunch of comics and like graphic novels, but I don't know if I'm in that phase right now.
You do a podcast on what is it you read that Ian gave me?
Which one?
What's the graphic novel that you've been keeping up with?
Oh, Saga.
Yeah, you should do a podcast on that. I think that'd be cool too.
I got a few suggestions to do graphic novels, but I think that I like that would be a fun one to do. What's it called? To read along with a bunch of people is like the wolf one, The Boy and the Wolf.
Oh, the Boy and the Beast.
Yes, I would love to do
You
that.
watched that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Freaking yes.
Yes.
Okay, guess what?
That's bad.
I have like my list of hashtag soft moves or boss moves. Do you kind of get the concept of it?
It's just like, so you're gonna explain to me like a concept, and then like I tag it with either soft move or boss move.
Yes.
Then I explain my reasoning.
Yes.
Cool. Okay.
Are you ready? I have 8 things. And you have to tell me whether you think it's a soft move or a boss move.
Okay.
Ready?
Do it.
All right. Your thoughts on buying teacup pigs?
Teacup pigs. If you're a girl, soft boss move. If you're
That's racist.
what? What do you mean?
Just kidding.
Pigs are hard to take care of, man. I mean, if
No,
like,
they're not. They're clean.
really?
Yeah, pigs clean up after themselves. They lick the crap.
Are you saying you want a teacup pig?
No.
Well, I think that. I mean, it's a pet. You know, just get it what you want.
Soft move or boss move? I'm gonna go boss.
I'm gonna say soft because it's not. It's not the. Yeah, it's not the hardest animal you could buy.
Okay, I guess. I think it's a boss move if you're like a buffalo dude and you're like, I want a teacup pig. And you just flaunt it.
I
Straight up.
might cook
That's
it.
a confidence move right there. You know what I mean?
I make some teacup lechon real quick.
No.
Kidding.
I mean, I'm not vegan, but
I know. I hear you.
okay, here's one that's kind of Stephen King related. Moving to a small town in the north. Soft move or boss move?
Boss move, because depending on the town, if you can make it work on somewhere you know isn't your comfort zone, then yeah, that would be a boss move.
I think that's a boss move too, because you know how I am. I like being by myself, and can you imagine like the scenery?
That's what I was thinking. You know, when you moved to like Tennessee, I was like, dude, she's in another state. That's a straight up boss move. But
Yeah.
and you drove there.
I can imagine like living on a port, like all of Stephen King's like settings, you know what I mean? And then looking
The screen.
at boats and sunrises on the water. But
Yeah.
it's kind of like evil at the same time too.
How would you want to imagine living there? You literally just said you want to live somewhere evil.
No, no, I didn't mean that. But all of his stuff is based in like Maine and Massachusetts and stuff. And it's like trees and crap and
That's
friggin'
funny.
lakes.
That's where Pet Cemetery takes place too.
Yeah. I think that generally all his books take place like where
Small town
he grew up.
with like an obscure history. Like
No, it's mostly like Maine. Like
oh
almost all of them, yeah.
oh wow,
Yeah, I think I read about that somewhere. Okay, how about this one? Fire.
boss move.
Boss move. There's no way. I don't know why I wanted to say that. Okay, next one. Soft move or boss move? Arranged marriages.
Soft move,
Why?
because love isn't something you arrange. I think you should only marry the person you love, unless you're doing it for the specific benefit, and then your partner knows that he's only in it for my inheritance. And then if you're okay with it, then yeah, it's a boss move. But for me personally, I don't. I think trying to alter someone's destiny like that when it's really not in the cards for them, and just have them just live it out. For the at least.
I guess I understand. I'm gonna say soft move too.
What do
Do
you
you
mean?
remember when in the book, what was her name? Um
Oh, the mother who like freaking hates.
mhm. Trying to get Susan to stay with the hometown guy.
Let that let her let her breathe. Just
What a brat.
she is a boss at that.
Okay, ready? Next one.
Yeah. What number are we?
We're on like 5.
Five? Okay.
Okay, soft move or boss move? Instagram straight flexing.
Straight flexing. I guess I'd be a hypocrite because I flex a little bit in my Instagram stories. So if you're doing it right, if you're not flexing too hard and you're flexing something worth flexing, then yeah, it's a boss move. I think it's a boss move.
I agree. I'm going to call it a soft boss. That's not what she wanted to say.
They ask for raises and you just give it to them.
Yeah, because me and Hallie and I were talking about how we feel about New Year's resolutions and everyone posting
Oh yeah,
what they want to do, and I think that's okay. Like I'm totally about New Year's resolutions, and like any at any point of the year where you feel like something's pushing you to be a better person, or like you said, be your better self, then I think that's a boss move. Like that's
but if you're
you should feel that way about yourself and you should want to be that way. But I think it's a soft move when it's like very obvious that you're trying to flaunt something.
the clout and you're just trying to like get some likes, if you're posting something just on the gram for some likes, you're posting your personal resolutions along with it, like a little thoughty pic, and you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna blah 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 blah, and you don't even follow through with it, then you're mad.
Yeah, that's a big thing too. Like if you don't even follow through with it, or like
Softer than your waist.
Yeah.
Waist not tight. Just like
Hashtag soft boss.
flabby underarms. Not. All right.
uh,
Sorry.
it's okay. Soft move or boss move? Exploring ghost towns.
Boss move. Super boss move.
Oh, it's definitely not soft, but yeah, it's definitely a boss move, but something I totally wouldn't do.
I would do it. I think I should do it once just because like I feel like if I haven't experienced something like really scary that's like not a movie, then I can't consider myself a fan of the genre unless like I just I mean I think I have to, but I don't want to. But I think if I
Let's make that a thing. Let's do that next year, Joss.
where at
I'll do it with you. I'll find some kind of haunted crap.
I
Maybe somewhere in
bet there's
Kentucky.
something in Tennessee like a freaking like old like ranch or something like that.
Yeah, or Kentucky.
Okay, okay, okay.
All right, we'll do that. We'll do that. We'll make that.
Okay, but
A-
you have to keep your eyes open. You have to like actually. So are we gonna like spend the night over there, or are you just gonna go like on a?
oh God.
I don't,
Oh, we are not
I don't know if
spending
I,
the
spend,
night.
I don't know if I could spend the night, but well, if it comes down to it, if like we need shelter,
Shelter. I'm bringing knives, dude.
knives. What the frick are we gonna do against a freaking ghost? It's like,
Cut them.
oh gosh.
Okay. Are you ready for the last one?
Ready for the last one?
Soft move or boss move? Growing up in a small town. Or I should say, growing up slash raising a family in a small town.
It kind of depends because what the town could turn you into. You know,
Do you think that Jacksonville, that we weren't a small town, were we?
it felt like a small town. I mean, like we're in the largest city in the U.S. area wise, but we know a whole bunch of people, and like it feels small and it feels like super local because we've pretty much been everywhere in Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
And in that sense, it's a small town where a lot of people just know a lot of people. People know each other's business. We're open with each other. It's not like a sprawling, big old city.
Mm-hmm.
I like LA and like all its like counties and stuff like that. It's just Duval County. It's Jacksonville. It's just one like it's a big city physically, but it doesn't feel like it. But as far as raising, yeah, I mean, if you can raise a family anywhere, and have it like turn out well,
I
especially,
think, yeah, I think it's a boss move.
yeah, I think. Well, you can become soft in a small town. I guess you can be like, just be like not like you could be like too accustomed to like a small town and then just like want to stay there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, kind of just like depends like your experience in that town. To be able
That,
to have family in it's good, but it also just kind of depends on like how like you turn out with that upbringing in a small town. You could become soft war boss, I guess. But for the most part, I'll say it's a boss move.
yeah, I'd say it's a boss move because, like you said, it feels like we grew up in a small town just because of the culture of how we were raised, because we always stayed so close to home. Like, no matter what,
We had like this,
really were home most of the time, other than school and like occasional vacations and stuff.
yeah,
And we kept our circle pretty small,
shout out
and
to
that entailed us like knowing everything about whoever was in our circle and stuff.
yeah, and that's what
So
I
I like that, and it gives you values and all of that kind of stuff. It's just, I think it's a matter of like when you do grow up, like with Susan, because she lived in such a small town and had these expectations of her to like stay there and marry the guy that everyone expected her to marry. Like, it's super out of your comfort zone to actually.
that could make you soft. I think
Mm-hmm.
you're not you're green in terms of just like outer experience, and if your whole life centered in like one place without even just like branching out a little bit, then that could, you're not steeled up towards like everything that happens outside your town, and just
Mm-hmm.
everything outside.
I
But
don't know if you listeners have noticed, but I think that my brother is probably one of the only people who I feel like could read more than me. Not lately, but in the past, Joss, you used to read more than me, and I think that anyone else like in our family, I don't know anyone that's like as articulate as me as well, because we were both like the nerds. You were a nerd in a
I
different
was
way.
a nerd, but then you became a bigger nerd.
I think you're still a nerd.
I'm a different kind of nerd.
You are. We're like different breeds.
Yeah, I'm like an anime nerd. I'm like an otaku now, but now you're just like we have a book club. That's the different kind of nerd.
Okay. That does make sense. But like I could just it makes me happy because who else like in our family, like we don't read I don't know where I was going with that.
What if you just
like
up there?
like we don't talk about books. Like I feel like we could both read a book and like have good discourse on it. So I have to figure out what we're gonna read next. What do you want to read next?
I like, dude. This is 47 minutes, and we were talking about horror. Like,
Yeah.
I think you should do like maybe. I think you should do a day where you like do like a quick thing on like two novels that you've read. Give it time and give like a really good analysis. Like you read, I really want you to read The Troop because I don't think you're big on like science fiction type horror.
Mm-hmm.
It was solid. Characterization was great. Just like the advancing of like the plot was like a really good pace, and like the ending, like it kind of gripped you in the end. It's like just like what happened, like what's gonna happen. Like I think you should read The Troop and then change it up and do like two books in a day. You read The Troop and then you review like another one on the same day. Just like do like two books and just like a quick review of each.
I'll tie you up in the end.
That's
Joss,
yes.
what's your favorite song right now?
My favorite song right now. Dang, see, this is how you know I'm a nerd because it's not even English; it's a Japanese song. But
Oh
favorite
God.
song in Japanese.
Here we
Favorite
go.
song in English. Favorite song in English is, huh? I've been listening to a lot of the same songs. Honestly, I haven't really been.
Okay, you could tell me
I really
your
like that song
Japanese
by
song. Tell
Kid.
me your Japanese song, but you have to sing part of it.
Oh gosh, really?
Do it.
Okay, it's called. I don't know if your listeners watch any anime, but check out Zombieland Saga.
Uh-huh.
Really good. It's, oh gosh, I don't even want to. It's about zombie idols. But
How
the
does the theme song go?
song is called Atsukunare, and he goes Atsukunare. And it's part of it.
Wow. Everyone give him an applause.
Oh my gosh. Oh no.
Literally get like a -1.
They're gonna judge me. They're going.
That was so good. Your falsetto has improved.
Oh well, that made me feel a little better. But
Okay.
you heard me. My favorite English song right now is "Better" by Khalid. I listen to that a lot.
By who?
Khalid.
Oh, check you out.
Even though I still make fun of his voice, that's a really good song.
It's pretty good.
Okay. Well, what were you gonna tell me, Jane?
I was actually my tita Tessa is gonna bring over some chicken macaroni salad
Oh,
when I'm supposed to be dieting. It's okay. But I was just gonna ask um, if you had any final words for the listeners.
um,
If you were to give a desperate listener one piece of advice, what would it be?
uh, how about the only constant in life is change?
Ooh, check you out. You want to know what I have in my old quote binder?
That quote binder? You have a binder of quotes?
No, fuck.
Okay.
I used to write them all down in different colors. Hold on. I'll find a good one. So yours is the only constant.
It has to be the first one you flip to.
Okay. Mine is security is mostly superstition. It does not exist in nature. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing.
I like that.
Helen Keller said that.
I love that so much.
Okay.
Yes. Holy crap, Janine, 51 minutes.
Are you happy?
Actually, I didn't think that we'd, you gave the premise of what we were going to talk about, and I did not think it would be that long, honestly. Wow.
That's what you said.
We talked about it, the premise of what we talked about.
Okay, in 3, 2, 1, you're going to say bye, and then the first word that comes to your head. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Bye, January.
Just want to say thank you again to my big little brother for recording the episode with me. I love you. Guys, so many big things planned for 2019. How come life just keeps getting better? That's all I want to know. So, thank you again for all your support. I wouldn't be here doing what I do without you guys' support. So, keep an eye out for the next episodes. Follow me on Twitter at JanineBTL. That's where I'll keep you the most updated. And also, again, rate and review me on Apple Podcasts. Or, favorite this on Anchor. That would be the coolest thing in the world. Keep an eye out for the next episodes. And I just want to say, as my parting words for this episode, that wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever, what if you're a hedgehog? I love you. Let's make this year the best year we've ever experienced. Thank you again for everything and all the support. I will catch you in the next episode of Janine Between the Lines. Good night.